Where's Q&A? Add apps, Q&A. Why can't I search for apps? That would be fantastic. I think we are.
Live? It says live on mine.
Yeah. I don't know where the Q&A app is.
I saw it on the other one, but I think I'm not.
Hear you? No,
Yeah.
Megan.
I'm not the host anymore. Okay, so we can post this now.
Yeah. Where did you see it on the other one?
It was back on the splash page, if that makes sense.
Oh. On air apps. You still sound like a robot.
I kind of expected to, but I don't know.
Event page and click on. Okay, so I click cancel. I don't know. Where's my event page? Live events. Event page is going to be on the channel, perhaps? No, no. Event page. What does an event page look like?
I just closed it.
Live control room. How about that? Oh, wow. Yeah, this is fantastic. Info and settings. Share on. Public. Hangouts on air. Has some weird tags on it. Don't worry about them. Go live now. We already are.
It was the little box. If this is the splash page, I'm going to do this backwards. So there's a little box that would allow you to hit the start button. Right next to that, there was a blue Q&A button.
Right next to which? Sorry, do that again. I couldn't find them. Like, where's my Google Hangout? I have too many things up.
This is not going to be helpful for you, maybe, but if this is the landing page,
Yeah.
there was a small box here with a play button in it, if you know what I mean. Right underneath the play button, there was a Q&A button.
Underneath the play button.
On the event page itself.
That is useless. All I have for buttons is G+ Twitter. It's not the same thing. I feel like I'm not on the page that I'm supposed to be on.
No. Okay, do we really need the Q&A thing? Or
Hangout? I don't know.
because at some point I think we should just start.
I think so too, because, I mean, they can do chats.
Yeah. Okay.
If there was a video, you know, a picture on Google would be great, but no, there's no picture.
Okay. Do you want to share this in the CQA group?
Can somebody else do that while I keep looking for this?
I don't know if we can.
You have to send that same link that I posted, I think. No one can hear you, so Megan, which makes me sad.
Do we also have the YouTube thing if people just want to watch?
Yeah. Oh, seriously? We're gonna make you choose an account for you? No, that doesn't make sense. What the heck just happened just now? Why does it? I keep losing the video feed somewhere in my laptop when I would give 2 monitors right now. Go away. Go away.
Okay. Well, I'm going to post this in the CQA group. And I'm posting exactly the link that you shared with us, yes?
I believe so.
Okay.
If not, I guess we'll find out painfully. So where's the video gone to? Video manager. Come on. I had one in here. Live events. There. Live now. Resume Hangout on air. I already am in a Hangout on air. Am I in it twice now?
I'm going to share this on social media, or on the Facebook page as well. Do you know where the YouTube link is so people can see it on that if they want to?
Apparently not, which is really frustrating because every time I click on it, it says, it's live now. Would you like to go live now? And I'm like, sure. So I click on it, and then it says, no. And then it says, you need permissions for something. And I'm going, but it is starting. So I don't know what else I can do. It's not on this channel's information. It'll be on my channel if it's anywhere. If anyone wants to go to youtube.com/I have no idea what my user is. Just a second. My channel. Jill from the Prairies? It is Jill from the Prairies. I am apparently streaming live and I look like an idiot. Here we go. Yay! Which is really frustrating because every time I click on it, it says, it's live now. Would you like to go live now? And I'm like, yeah, there. That's awesome. That's a great way to start a channel.
This is funny. I also wonder if we can edit it down.
If we can what?
If we can edit it down afterwards before posting it on YouTube.
I believe so.
I mean, as awesome as this is.
Yeah. The start is just so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you say, Brian? So how do we get people to the live thing then? Apparently Brian can see a bunch of old stuff, and I don't know why.
I don't know.
But look at that. Oh, we have somebody in group chat. That's a good sign. Hello, Calvin.
It won't let Claire on unless she enables her her microphone and video.
Yes. And it shouldn't need that because people shouldn't be coming in that way. That's the problem. That's why we need that Q&A thing, I think, instead. Or just send them to YouTube. Send people to YouTube. I posted the link in the chat window. But YouTube isn't a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Calvin. Something's just not right. Technology.
I've seen it both ways. I've seen it where everyone's in the Hangout, and I've seen it where it's only the question. So I can take that link down if you have the YouTube link for me.
Yes, I posted it. I can post it again. I'll just keep posting it.
Okay, then I'll replace that one if we have a way for them to submit questions. Do we?
Quidditch Canada does have a YouTube channel, but we can't use it for this feature because Google.
Can you hear me now?
Yes!
So Jill, would you like me to take off the link to this Hangout and just keep going?
Yes. I'll say yes. I'll
Okay.
make an executive decision of yes-ness to that. Then I'm going to click onto that, and we're going to get back feed for a second until I click mute. There we go.
Is my title backwards?
No, it only looks like you, probably.
It's just mirrored for me.
Tell me if it's working.
Yeah, this is not live. That's funny thing. Okay, apparently it's close to live. That counts for something.
Okay, so I've removed the...
It says live for me, so I don't know.
You sound like a robot.
No, now you can write, yeah, there's a huge delay, but it's live. You can write comments on the side of the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, it's working.
Maybe
Can you try writing?
Yes.
This one is fine.
Okay, because I can't see those. Or maybe I can. Can you write something? I just want to see where it pops up.
What? But I see comments right now. Comments have not been disabled for this video.
No, I mean I'm looking on the actual.
No, Brian's having problems. He's saying that comments have been disabled for the video on YouTube, but I can see comments from other people, which means it's a problem on your end, not ours.
That's within the Google chat.
Hi, Steve.
Probably because you're not logged into YouTube. Why do you need to have a YouTube login? Google.
You're going to want that open too.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do split screens?
Yeah.
I don't know the commands for the Mac, but then if you go down, you'll have your comments
Okay.
on one, and you'll have your Google Hangout on the other.
Okay. Yay! Okay, I have got
And
it.
then if you do your Google Hangout on that side of the screen,
Yeah. I have got it figured out. Good news. Good news, everyone.
That's good. Good news.
slide, then there's your
Brian's
comments.
having problems. He's saying that comments have been disabled for the video on YouTube. Ooh. Someone needs to mute YouTube.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to the YouTube broadcast, and because originally the thing that we posted was actually a link to the video, and I think it's more constructive if we have people in the YouTube.
Because the link you gave me sent you there.
Yeah.
Which is where you can put the comments.
Go to CQA, and there's a link.
Oh, did you post that already?
Well, when my computer decides that it doesn't have too many things open, it will let me back in.
No, I posted it. It's all good.
As long as you posted it. Refresh. Oh, scrolly. Yes! It's the recent post, the top recent post.
Yes,
Okay.
I see it.
Okay. Should we just start answering questions?
Sure. Do we have questions?
Are people watching?
There's a couple people here.
It's also, it'll be available on YouTube afterwards, even if people aren't necessarily watching right now.
Yeah, and there's people over here on the group chat too, so.
And with any luck, we can actually shorten it down a little bit, because there's a lot of, just like 10 minutes of us trying to make it work. But now it's working, so that's good.
Comments have not been disabled because other people are typing them. So it's still a problem on your end.
Not a problem on my end. I'm using YouTube to access with your link.
So what are other
Yeah.
people? And they can type things.
3 people did. Hi.
I don't know what else I can do. Should we just start answering questions in the comment?
Sure. Okay. I've muted my YouTube.
Yes, everyone needs to have YouTube muted, which is actually not convenient for typing things, but whatever. Yeah, see, other people can comment. I can't help you with your account. Okay, sorry. So, our first question, drumroll please. Chris, are you the anonymous frog? Anyway, is from Nina, who asks, what will the timing be for the regional tournaments and the national cup, as in which semester?
So, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. What we've decided to do for regionals is a February regionals for both sides of the country. Eastern regionals and Western regionals will be in February, not November. November is too close to right now to be able to plan a tournament effectively. So we're going to do February. This means that Eastern regionals will likely be in a dome or some sort of indoor facility, which we are prepared for and we've budgeted for, and we look forward to all the challenges that come along with that. Nationals is going to be in the spring. Nationals, also known as Canada Cup, the new sort of Canada Cup, not the old one. Canada Cup will be April, May, time, late spring, then we are working around exam schedules. So anytime after or around your exams is when you can expect Canada Cup to be happening. I hope that answers that question.
But not during exams, right?
Not during exams, no. No, the benefit of only working with one country's exam schedule is that we can actually track every single school's exams and find a week that works, or a weekend that works for everyone. So we're very excited for that. Are people commenting? Am I just speaking out into the void? Calvin's commenting. Hi, Calvin.
Yeah. We will have some speaking out into the void because of the lag from YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Will the regionals be qualifiers for the National Cup?
Regionals will not be qualifiers for nationals per se. They will have an effect on the seeding for nationals. So we recommend that all league teams go to regionals because that's part of your benefits, is that you get to go to regionals, and it's definitely an advantage for you to do that. For some extraneous reason, if you can't go to regionals, you can still go to nationals. It's not a qualifier, but it affects your seeding. So how you do in regionals is going to affect your pools and all kinds of, which teams you face at nationals. Chris has more information about that because he's gameplay, but as far as I'm aware, it affects it, but it's not your qualifier.
So as a follow-up to that, are only league teams allowed to compete in Canada Cup?
We've gone back and forth on this a few times. Right now, we want Canada Cup to be the highest level of competition for Quidditch Canada, and we would like to accept only league teams at this time based on what we surveyed you and what we surveyed different teams to be their values and sort of their goals for the season. It seemed that the very competitive teams wanted something big at the end of the season, and the more development-style teams were just looking for a chance to play but weren't in a position to travel to one big tournament at the end of the year. Because it's only one tournament of the year, everyone's going to have to travel. So if you're a development team, you probably aren't ready for that kind of commitment to that kind of tournament. So right now it is just league teams. There is a possibility of running a sort of adjacent tournament to that for development teams, but it hasn't been discussed very much at all, and it's not something that we're promising right now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I feel like we're just shoving all the questions at you, but these are the early questions.
That's fine.
They're all aimed.
I love talking.
I'm just going to listen to Megan speak for an hour.
I like it too. So it actually follows again, and that last one was actually from Alex, not from Nina, but this one's also from Alex with Ryerson. Will a development team membership allow the team to play in tournaments?
So I can see the question, and I see your follow-up question, Alex, is that does it require special permission from the tournament directors? And yes, your hunch is correct. So for non-Quidditch Canada hosted events, and I commented this on Facebook earlier as well, it is up to the tournament director to decide what kind of teams they're inviting for their tournament, if they're inviting league teams or development teams or both in a combination of sorts. Am I getting completely off the question? So development team membership allows your team to play in tournaments where development teams are welcomed. It's up to the TD entirely. It does not get you it does not get you a tournament fee for regionals, and it does not get you into nationals. But as individual TDs figure out their own tournaments, you may be more than welcome to play in those, but that's up to the TD.
Cool.
Related to that, since I know someone's going to ask, since someone asked on Facebook already today, we don't know yet what's going to constitute an official game versus an unofficial game. That's something that we have to work out with gameplay, and considering Chris is just one person right now, we need a little bit more of a gameplay department to be able to really talk about and discuss and have answers for those kind of questions. So it is something that we're working on, and I know Ian is organizing a tournament in Kingston very shortly, October-ish, so we are definitely going to have an answer within the month for sure.
I see a question on the YouTube channel, and it says like Division 1, Division 2 thing, and I think that is, I'm not sure if that's towards tournaments or nationals.
That was probably directed to what I said about nationals. Kind of. It's not quite Division 1, Division 2 because of how standings and rankings are working. Again, Chris has more information on this as well, but that was something I had brought up. Do we want to do D1, D2? And Chris said, no, it's not like that. But I can't elaborate any further because Chris had the better explanation for that. But I see where you're going, and my head is kind of in a similar place, but we just don't have the official detailed answer yet. And I'm sorry, I know that's disappointing.
One of the other questions that's come up is usually it's just been seen on Facebook in a few places, and in case anyone missed it, was about different rules for tournaments, especially if games played in U.S. Quidditch and under their rule book at their tournaments could count for Canadian leagues and standings. And right now it can definitely count for standings, which is just a straight up wins versus losses. But we're not sure about how it's going to work for standings because that's a little bit more complicated. So there's more math around how standings work versus rankings. But the idea is that, or how rankings work versus standings. But the idea is that we want people to play games. We want people to play as many games as possible against everyone they can. So for all of this, being a development team as a rule shouldn't keep you from going and playing in tournaments. And being a Quidditch Canada team shouldn't keep you from playing in USQ tournaments, with the exception of USQ regionals and USQ nationals.
And Chris commented on that as well earlier on Facebook, is that being a league team, playing games against development teams, there's no downside to that. So it'll only affect your standing, win-loss record, but it won't affect your ranking. So if you lose against a development team, your ranking isn't affected, just your basic standing. So there are so many advantages for everyone. Just play games.
When there's a gap in the questions, I have one from UTSC.
Let's go with your question next then.
Okay, sure. So the question was, can a league team have more than 21 players on its roster as long as only as long as only 21 play in any given tournament?
What a good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's something that we have established yet. That's a joint question, I think, between Jill, Megan, and Chris. I'm not sure if the three of you have had a chance to actually talk about that yet.
We are going to require rosters to be determined in advance and submitted in advance for tournaments. What that player limit is on that roster is yet to be determined. I know a lot of schools have Quidditch clubs in that you have like 40 people at your school that are involved in Quidditch, and whether you split that into one team or two teams is going to depend on this answer. So yeah, that hasn't been decided or established yet, but it's something that we're looking at. I'm going to go with probably. 21 has worked in the past. We're not changing things for the sake of changing them. But we will have an official answer for you when we publish our big list of what makes a game official and what makes a tournament official and the rest of that, which, as I said earlier, will be within the month.
There's also no limit on the number of people you can have in your team altogether. Like, you can have 40 people registered as individual members for your league team.
Yes.
That's already, or you can have 50, or you can have 100 if you wanted 100 all on one league team, although I'd recommend splitting to two so more people can play more often, but
I think that's
no limit.
I think that answers the question.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the question again was, can a league team have more than 21 players on its roster as long as only 21 play in any given tournament? So I think they're wondering, can you have a larger pool of people, and if we knew what number that would be, and then to reduce it to, say, 21 for every tournament, which is probably the number. That's what it's always been. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so again, not 100% yes, but like 90% yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're giving the real official answers here on Quidditch Canada Hangout. 90% vague, 100% of the time.
Another good vague answer one for you. How likely is it that the National Cup would be held on the West Coast?
From Nina. That is a really good question. It won't be 100% vague. We have not selected locations for regionals or nationals yet. We know that regionals, there's going to be one on the west side of the country and one on the east side of the country, based on separation of teams, and that makes sense, and I think no one is surprised by that. We have not selected a nationals location. A lot goes into that. We have received 2 bids. One from Burnaby has expressed interest, the same location as IQA Global Games, which is very exciting. Queen's University in Kingston has also submitted a bid. But we're looking at more factors than just who wants to host it. We have to look at costs. We have to look at travel costs for all players. We have to look at facilities and all kinds of things. And, of course, the availability of the facilities for the exact weekend that doesn't, the magical weekend that doesn't interfere with anyone's final exams. So a lot of factors are going into that, and we're looking at all of them, and I don't have an answer for you. But likelihood of it being on the West Coast is, it could happen. Yeah, we're definitely not saying it's not going to happen.
Can I submit a question that I know we're going to get from that? So teams that are interested in submitting bids, are we accepting bids right now? And what sort of things should be put in the bid?
Yeah, we will continue to accept bids, absolutely. We didn't we didn't publish an acceptable bid guideline yet. People just kind of came to us and said, let's host things, so that was very exciting. What we're looking for is what your location is offering us. So don't just tell us all about your location and all the facilities you have. Do that, but also, what can your team offer us that's going to make it easier for us to host a tournament there? Things like sponsorships, things like local business support, things like advertising. Get creative. Get thinking. If you've ever planned a tournament and you've thought, oh my gosh, this is impossible, what would make this easier? Can you provide something like that for Quidditch Canada? And then that's going to be something that we consider. Does that kind of answer Steve's question? Because I can see you looking at Steve out of the frame. Oh.
Sorry.
You were muted.
So that actually didn't come from Steve. That was just a question that I thought we would probably get. So things to think about if you're interested in submitting a bid. Do you have a field in mind? Do you know how much the field costs? Does the city or your team, depending on whether it's a city field or a campus field, is there going to be any possibility to subsidize the cost of the field? Are there bathrooms on site? Are there hotels in the area? Is there food accessible? Like all these kind of things. So you got to think about all the things that we have to think about. It doesn't make any sense, but it's fine. Do you have any other specific questions?
Let's take a look at Facebook comments and YouTube comments.
I think we both stumbled on the same one at the same time. Yes. So question, how will QC IQA Congress delegates be chosen? Will there be an election? So we're going to be posting something as soon as our website can go up. So the QC delegates have to be individual members, absolutely have to. Whether we have 1 or 2 is going to be determined by the IQA Congress. Right now we're looking at only having 2. So the first one has to be a director, so it was part of my job. I'm going to be one of the delegates. But we should have 2, and the second person is going to be a combination of an application process and an election, if that answers your question. And so that's probably going to happen. My ideal would be to have the process either finished or well underway by the end of September, because I want to give people enough time to actually be able to register, so that anyone who's interested, because I know that, for example, like you can't register as an individual member yet, so I want to make sure people have enough time. So let me know if that answers your question.
And people will get votes as individual members on who you want to represent your organization at the IQA.
Yeah, people who have registered as individual members already will have a vote as an individual member.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak. I have a question. Hey, Megan, where did you get that gorgeous shirt? Oh. Well, thank you, anonymous person. These shirts and many more like it will be on our store, which will be up shortly after the website is up. How shortly is yet to be determined. Stores take a lot of work, inventory takes a lot of work and money to acquire. But these shirts were from our Teespring. It may not be the first or last Teespring that we do, or the last Teespring that we do. If you ordered shirts from the Teespring and you live in Ottawa, and you haven't given me money, you probably have a shirt on my coffee table. So, if your name is Trevor Permet, I am wearing your T-shirt.
Shout out, while we're on the subject of that, shout out to David Daniels for the absolutely stunning logo that he created for us.
Yes, everyone, David designed this, and he is wonderful, and you should all adore him. And yes, it looks even better as a bro tank. Tegan, oh yeah, Tegan's hoodie is on. Yeah, Tegan. There you go.
My hoodie is
little,
there.
little public shaming there for you.
Thanks for that. Super appreciate it.
Do we have any official questions?
Actual question, Nina, is could you guys talk about the transfer between teams policy, where will there be special considerations for schools with A and B teams?
That's a wonderful question. I think that is Jill's department.
Yes, I think so too. So the concept is that I'm going to assume that an A and B team is going to be an A team is your main team and your B team is perhaps practicing and trying to make things work. That type of stuff. Like they're practicing, they're learning, but they're not a league team. So with that assumption in mind, and feel free to correct it in the YouTube comments, your A team should be registered as a league team, your B team would be a development team, and then all of your people can belong to both teams. So you can register onto the development team and the league team. You can put together your roster of, we want these 20 people to go to this event, and we want these other 21 people to go to that event, and you shouldn't need to be doing a transfer whatsoever. That's why we have two types. You can be on two teams as an individual member. That's the concept, essentially, is so that you can have everyone practicing together and then send the right people to the right event. I hope that answers.
So the question, between, if you're asking a question about other teams, so just two, say, league teams, Chris isn't here, and that's his department, but I think the idea is that you can transfer once per season, is what I believe he said. There's a full write-up of it somewhere that I don't have right in front of me right now.
Yeah, that'll be more information that is on our website once our website launches.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can totally be on your A team and your B team at the same time.
So Nina says, actually, we have two league teams. So what I believe the idea is that because they're the two league teams that are competing at the same level, it's a one per semester transfer. And there may be something if in exceptional circumstances or extenuating circumstances, but otherwise it'll probably be once per semester. Or sorry, once not semester. Sorry, once per season.
Not semester. Once
Not
per
semester,
season.
Season. They both start with S.
Yeah, the idea is because league teams have rankings, so you want to have the same people playing on the same team as much as possible, because as you transfer people between league teams, it's going to mess with the rankings. So if it was just standings, development teams, not nearly as worrisome. But because we want to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples, we don't want to have some of the apples moving over to the oranges basket.
If we don't have more lists of teams, I have a general question that I'm sure people are wondering. So, Jill, I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about why we chose to have the structure that we do, because I know it's pretty unconventional in the Quidditch world so far to have two levels of teams and the ability to play at both levels. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about why we decided to do that.
We decided to do that for a couple of reasons. One of them was that in our interviews with people from across Canada, we determined that there was definitely a need for services at two different levels. our main goal is to have people is to develop the sport of Quidditch in Canada while still providing for people who already have some of those basics down. So the concept was that if you can play on a development team and a league team, that you can have a whole bunch of development teams, have a few people from each of these teams potentially combined to make a league team, and then they can go out, play at tournaments, travel a little further, play at a higher level, and bring all of that experience back to their development team. So that's one of our goals for sure. Other goals are just to make sure that people can play as much as possible at a level that they want to play at. Because some people don't want to play at a super competitive level, but we still want to know about them, to be able to help them train in ways that are appropriate for them, and to get their teams stronger and spread the club across Canada. So.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Oh, and I don't think we're the only group doing this now. Quidditch UK has something similar with their Challenge Shield teams versus their regular teams, I think. Mm-hmm. So, and we have been watching what the other countries are doing. So I think it's not just us that's doing it, which is nice too, but I think we're doing it for slightly different reasons. So.
Do we have any other questions written anywhere?
I'm not seeing anything on Facebook. Toma, have you received anything in your email?
Oh, that's another one from earlier though. Where did it go? We've got super slow computer situation. New Vancouver team. That is not a question.
We are very excited about the Vancouver Storm, though. That's very exciting. We love new teams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could just start coming up with questions. I mean, it's always fun.
Think of all the questions that we've been answering on Facebook in case people have missed any of the answers. Mm-hmm. I think our number one question there has definitely been, will we still get to play USQ teams or Quidditch UK teams or Australian Quidditch? It doesn't really matter. Teams from other countries, it's mostly USQ that people are worried about. And as far as we've heard, and I've heard this now from 4 different regional directors and quite a few different captains of teams, that there's no reason that you can't participate in any USQ tournament held or USQ sanctioned tournament held in the States aside from regionals and nationals, where you'd also have to be registered with USQ in order to play in those ones. But otherwise, just registering in Quidditch Canada should let you play in every tournament, and registering as USQ, unless a tournament director decides otherwise in Canada, should probably allow you to play in most Canadian tournaments, again, except for our regionals and nationals. So our goal is definitely not to put any barriers up for playing, and I think our membership program is designed to do that. I don't know if there's any follow-up questions to that anyone have seen, but that seems to be people's one of the biggest concerns out there is, can we still play each other? And as far as we know, should be able to. And I've heard it from 4 different regional directors that they think you should be able to as well, so that's a good sign.
Yeah. The main thing is just, if you're concerned, to ask the tournament director, because that it's up to them, even not USQ, it's up to the individual tournament director whether or not they're going to allow unofficial teams. And the overwhelming response that I'm hearing from USQ tournament directors is that yes. But if you're concerned, I would talk to them. The only exception is, of course, their nationals and regionals, where you do have to be a full USQ member to participate.
As well as all of the other requirements, which they have published very clearly on their website.
Yeah.
Like this, we have a comment now on YouTube. It says, I love the 2 levels. A team doesn't have to be competitive nationally to get benefits from joining. That's definitely one of the reasons why we set up our development teams option and individual membership. We found that a lot of people said, well, there was no point to belong to the old IQA because we weren't planning to go to what was then called World Cup, where what we wanted to do is give people a reason to belong, benefits that everyone can access from anywhere, and reasons to join our national sport organization instead of just all focused on just one event. Don't get me wrong, that one event's going to be fantastic. Like nationals and regionals are going to be amazing, but not everyone is at that level. Not everyone wants just to go to 2 tournaments. They want to be able to play Quidditch all year round, and they want to do it better and have more fun and play against more people and do it safely. So that's basically what we were trying to do with our membership plan, is to give people a reason to join, make it as affordable as possible, and help improve Quidditch all across Canada.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing I think I'm really excited about this year, is that our membership plan focuses not just on competition. Like in previous years, it's been very, very focused towards only teams at the highest level, and I'm not sure if other teams really felt that they got the value of it. And I think not, because a lot of teams last year didn't sign up. Only about half, a little bit more than half of the teams in Canada actually signed up last year. And this year we've done a lot of work. We actually sat down with every single captain of every team in Canada to hear what they would like out of a membership plan. And I think the one thing that we heard was a lot of teams helped us. They're still trying to set up their team, and the thing that would be most useful for them is not, say, like a national tournament, although that would be great. The most useful thing for them would be resources on how to recruit. So I think that was really valuable for us, and that's one of the things we really tried to focus on in our membership plan, to make sure that there's those resources are available to them, because there's a lot of experience out there, but how do you ask for help if you don't know anybody? So I'm hoping that that's a thing that new teams find valuable, especially. Oh, there's a question.
Yes.
I see a question.
I'm going to answer it.
Oh, let me read the question, then like a game show host.
All right.
Speaking of TDs, will QC have any similar form of TD certification that USQ has?
What an excellent question. No, we will not. You will not have to be a certified TD to organize a tournament. All of the Quidditch Canada directors are pretty much on the same page in that we want more gameplay and more tournaments and more Quidditch happening with less barriers to that happening. That being said, we will be publishing again on the forthcoming website tips and resources and all kinds of recommendations for tournament directors, and that's part of my job, is to support those tournament directors and offer guidance and assistance for tournaments as they come up. The more tournaments we have, the bigger that database and the bigger those resources will become. So when we start, developing repeat tournaments in cities, we learn, okay, if you're hosting a tournament in Ottawa, this is who you contact to book the field. This is who you contact to get medics. And then that can slowly spread across the country. We've had tournaments in Kingston before. We've had tournaments in Toronto before. And then the West Coast, we're developing tournaments there as well. So now that we work with the city of Burnaby, we have more connections there. So really, we're building up those resources, and we almost want to have a phone book of who you call to organize a tournament. And the first name in that phone book is me. So if you have questions about running a tournament before that tips guide is up, please message me. I've worked on tournaments. My first tournament was World Cup 6. So World Cup 6, World Cup 7, Canada Cup 2013, Canada Cup 2013, Canada Fantasy 2013 and 2014. So Canadian tournaments, international tournaments, I've done that, and I'm very excited to help other people host their tournaments. The more tournaments, the better.
I have a question for you.
I'm just going to So, and a quick thing here that basically, instead of doing certification, which is a requirement that takes X amount of time to do X, Y, and Z things, instead what we're trying to do as much as possible is to just provide the information and the resources that you need without requiring testing and that type of side of certification. So we'll be providing the information that you need as opposed to the stick of you must be certified.
Yes.
So I have a question from a question asking person. This is not coming from me. So is the required amount of time before a QC official tournament so that we must confirm it with QC and have rostered submit rosters by, so like the old IQA had. So I think there's 2 questions in there. First, well actually there's 3 questions. So can you make a tournament QC official? So is there a way to do that? Is there an amount of time that you have to confirm it with QC in order for it to be official? And is there a deadline to submit rosters?
So there will be a deadline to submit rosters for sure. We discussed that already. We don't have an official answer yet, but yes, you will have to submit rosters in advance. The officialness of your tournament kind of comes back to official games and all of those requirements, which again we will have within the month for whether or not you're saying this game is official and whether or not a tournament is official because all the games are official, et cetera, et cetera. So that is something that we're looking at. There will be certain requirements to have Quidditch Canada sanction your event. Things like EMTs and insurance are the 2 basics because we want you to be safe. We want you to all leave the tournament in the exact same condition that you entered it. But beyond that has not yet been determined. So we're looking into not like a simple checklist of things that you should have already had for your tournament. We just want to make sure of that before we attach our name to that. And that should make sense and be fair for everyone.
If we don't have any questions in the lineup, I have a question for Toma. Toma, if I am a person in Canada and I'm interested in helping Quidditch Canada, what do I do? How do I help? How do I know where the jobs are? What jobs are? I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about that. I think you're on mute right now.
I don't think Toma can speak because his microphone is messed up, but he can answer it in a YouTube comment, perhaps?
No. Oh, sorry, you can't actually speak. I thought you could, but that's fine. Well, I mean, we can talk about that then. Well, I'll put you on the spot.
I can't remember it sounds robotic.
Yeah, you do.
Right?
Still very robotic, yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, we can talk about that even with Toma being a robot on mute. So if people are interested in getting involved, there's going to be a lot of volunteer positions opening up within days. As soon as basically our website is up, we've been having some technical difficulties, but it'll be up honestly as soon as we can. And all of the jobs will be listed on the website, and there will be jobs in just about every department. We will be looking for people to help with membership, people to help with expansion, people to help with events. Claire is looking for a lot of people in communications. I know Beasley is going to look for a lot of people in gameplay, so everything from like refs to snitches to general gameplay folk. I always call them folk, I don't know why. We're also going to be looking for a financial director in the near future, and all of those things will be on the website as soon as it is up. And as soon as it is up, we will be sharing it all over the place because it will be beautiful.
Our website is so pretty. I want you all to see it. The internet is hard.
It took us like 15 minutes to try to get this up, which was, the internet is hard.
Yeah, the problems with our website are out of our hands at this point. It's all name server issues. So it, as long as it takes the internet to figure out that we exist, that's as long as it will take for our website to be up. But it should hopefully be up very, very shortly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do we have anything else anywhere?
Not that I can really see. Okay, I have a question that I'm sure people don't know that they have, but I'm sure people are wondering this. So it is September. People are recruiting. Do we have any general recruitment trips? General recruitment tips that we would like to share, given that we're just closing the first week of September.
Do you have anyone in mind, or just everyone?
No, I'm just wondering that. I was just trying to think what other things could we talk about that would be useful, because we've been talking for a quarter of an hour, and I'm just trying to think of anything else that would be helpful for people. So if anyone has tips on recruitment, I have lots of tips on recruitment, I always do. So I can just start talking. That would be easiest. Some useful things for people to do is make sure that you are getting in touch with people on campus if you're a school team. There's a lot of resources. See if you can set up a table. And that is a very useful way of getting people. A lot of schools have club fairs. If your school doesn't have a club fair, you should actually suggest that to them. And let's get that thing running for next year. It's probably a little bit too late if your school doesn't have one for this semester, but that would be a really good thing to set up for next year. If you don't know if there's a club fair, reach out, find out about it. School admins are not always necessarily the best at reaching out, but they will generally have some kind of fair of the services that they have for new students. If not, see if you can rent a table somewhere and just set up, get your hoops, get people in costume, well, uniform, same thing. Jerseys, that's the word I'm looking for. Get people in jerseys, get snitches running around, and let people know. People get really, really excited when they see this happening. Make sure you have flyers with your contact information and the location and date and time of your first practice. Let people know about it. And if you are looking, because one of the questions I've had a few times is, how do you recruit athletes? And you recruit athletes by talking to potential members as though they are athletes rather than Harry Potter fans. Our sport has a bit of an interesting thing where we have half athletes and half Harry Potter fans, and then that Venn diagram overlaps somewhat. But what you want to do is, rather than focusing on it, if you're looking to recruit athletes, you focus on it as a sport. So it is a full contact co-ed sport played all around the world. There are hundreds of teams globally. You might want to talk about the global games that just happened if you were trying to advertise how widely played it is. You can also talk about the high level of competition in Canada. So we had 16 teams at our last Eastern Regional. I'm going to start calling it. So formerly known as Canadian Cup. Canada placed third at global games. All these fun facts for you guys. We sent 5 teams to the World Cup last year. Other interesting things.
I think there's a couple of things that we can specifically help people with as well. You mentioned getting into your club's open days. I think there's one university that has trouble where they're stuck between their clubs. People say that you're a sport, your sports people say that you're a club. If there's anything that we can do, like sending a letter explaining about what Quidditch Canada, or what Quidditch is, and where we think, basically you tell us where you want to fit, and we can try and support that and see if something like that might help you get in somewhere. Like, if we can use being bigger than you to help you along, we'd appreciate that. We're also going to be developing some graphic design templates, so stuff that's just sort of a generic-ish Quidditch Canada come play ball type thing that you can then personalize, so that, especially for new teams that are starting up, you don't have to have some expert graphic designer on staff to create your initial posters and to create your initial social media stuff. You'll be able to access some of our stuff, which is, I think, really exciting to have.
Yeah. Other things to do throughout September are make sure that you are being active on campus. So that could mean networking with other clubs, networking with associations. It depends on what your campus is set up as. Excuse me, but make sure you're reaching out to them. I've seen teams challenging other clubs or other sports teams or other student associations to games, and that's a really fun way of doing it. staging snitch chases across campus tends to be really effective because if you have somebody dressed all in yellow running through your cafeteria, it tends to attract some attention. So you want to be respectful of the other people who are sharing the space with you. But people tend to be pretty happy about it, and it's always a fun thing to do. Make sure that there's information. It's not just a person in yellow going by. So you want to
A
have
person in yellow throwing business cards. Good.
Yeah. So you might have them distributing it themselves, or you might have a couple people make sure wearing their jerseys, handing out flyers afterwards. Trying to do anything really to get attention. And good things to do for fundraising. Bake sales are always fun. If you can get sponsorships with local businesses, that's another really great way. And that's a resource that I believe we'll be developing over the next little while. Other things.
We have a follow-up question in Facebook or on YouTube. Sorry, that thing. Will community teams get similar help liaising with city governments? Absolutely. If there's something that we can do to help you get through to your local municipal government about who you are. What I found the biggest thing for myself as a community team person is registering as a nonprofit society. So we will be developing some resources around that to help community teams figure out how to register within your province and within your provincial jurisdiction to try and make it as simple for everyone as possible so we can learn from each other's experience. But if there's something that we can do, like if a letter from us would help you, absolutely contact us. It's something that we can easily help you with. We have another question here. If that's okay, can we move forward? Yes? Yes. Do we expect some U.S. teams will be joining Quidditch Canada? And while we can't guarantee one thing or another, it's definitely open to American teams. I think that especially if they're looking for something at that development level, they are very, very welcome to join as individual members or as a team. So I don't know if there's anything more that we can say about that, but it's definitely something that we're open to, and something that I think a lot of our resources will be provided online, so you could sign up from anywhere and access our staff.
I hope so. I think a lot of American teams would see value in that.
Mm-hmm. Not a question. Okay. Okay. Trying to see if there's other questions. Sorry. On the Facebook channels, YouTube. Is there anything else that anyone has seen coming up on Facebook that we could highlight for people?
Not for me.
Yeah. I think we've hit the main questions.
I'm sure once our website goes up and we have more things published, people will have questions about those things. And so this will not be the last office hours that we host. And hopefully the next one will be a little bit more technologically sound, perhaps.
Claire will be here for us. Although she was fantastic in helping us set this up already. But yeah.
And we also look forward to hosting an office hours with our full department team. So Chris Beasley, our gameplay director, is super valuable for these conversations. And Claire Hutchinson, our communications director, is also a super member of the team and is the person who's getting our website off the ground. So she is a superhero for dealing with the internet.
The things that she's been handling.
Yeah, she just speaks and, oh, look, I'm Beyonce. Oh.
Anyway, are there any other things that we should talk about before we sign off? If there are any more questions.
Last call for questions. I mean, there's a lag, so we won't see them. So.
I was going to say we should give a couple minutes for it to actually show up on YouTube. But. But beyond that, if people have more questions that they'd like that they would like to have answered, it's a weird sentence. They're free to send us a Facebook message, send us emails. All of our emails are firstname.lastname@quidditchcanada.com. They are also welcome to send us a Twitter message, send us a Facebook message. Just about anything. Yeah. Skype with people all the time. Love Skyping with people. If you have any questions whatsoever. But yeah, beyond that, anything else we should talk about before we sign off?
Doesn't look like it.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for coming. Thank you guys for watching. Please let us know if you have any questions or any suggestions or, any feedback at all. Everything that I've heard, I've heard lots of really great feedback about our membership plan. If you have any suggestions or concerns or questions, anything at all, send us a message. We're all really friendly people.
Yeah. And sign up. We've got our Teams membership, or Teams pre-sign up is already live. The membership database itself should be live by next Monday at the latest, and hopefully sooner than that. And then people can sign up, and from there it's going to be easy to schedule games and get stuff recorded, handed in. It's a really, really great system. Organize your team with it as well. So it should be a really good system. We just want to make sure that we've got everything in the proper languages, and we're collecting all the right information and not collecting stuff we don't need to collect. So that's basically where we're at right now, and it should be up by next Monday. So.
Thank you, Waterloo. They said they don't have any questions, but thanks for all the hard work you all do. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right, so if there aren't any more questions, I can't really think of anything else to say. Anything else that I'm missing at all?
Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon, everyone.
We look forward to talking to you later, and I'm so excited about this season. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm so, so, so excited. All of the amazing things are going to be happening. All right.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for coming, and this should be hopefully available on YouTube afterward, assuming that I didn't really do something incorrect here. So, but the plan is for it to be available. So, and in the meantime, if you have any questions, we're here. So.
All right. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know how to stop it. I guess I'll hang up. Bye. There.